Are you experiencing a lot of doubt as you grow your business and maybe in your own life? In this episode, I'm going to help you overcome it. Hey ladies, it's Amanda. Welcome to the Feel Amazing Naked podcast. This is a show where we dig deep, get honest, and talk about all the unsexy steps it takes to meet your goals. Whether you want to get fit, eat healthier, make more money, start a business, or any other results you desire in your life. Most of all, this podcast is for women who are ready to feel amazing naked on the outside and the inside. So ladies, time to take it off. Welcome ladies to the Feel Amazing Naked podcast. This is a business-focused episode, and like always, how we experience business is how we experience life. Our personal problems are our business problems. So if you're not an entrepreneur and you're in corporate or you're a parent or any of the things, I want to let you know that these episodes most definitely apply to you. I just may be using some lingo that's more specific to entrepreneurship. So I just want to give you a heads up as we dive into this episode. And one of the reasons I'm talking about business so much this month is because I have opened the doors to a few one-to-one business coaching spots. So if you are a woman growing a business who is wanting to increase your income, increase your productivity, increase your reach, your visibility, make more money, and truly step into the passion that you're growing, then I would love to help you get there. And so to do that, you can visit feelamazingnaked.com/let's chat, LETSCHAT. And you and I can come together and just talk about your vision and how I can support you to get there. So today I do want to talk about doubt. Doubt is a part of the entrepreneur journey. And if you haven't noticed, it's a part of life too. We wrapped up our Confidence Week back in March, and so much of the discussion in Confidence Week was around doubt and how doubt can be kind of almost like this virus that invades us and prevents us from stepping forward into our dreams. And so today I want to talk a little bit about why doubt exists, and then I'm going to give you 7-ish actionable steps, tangible stuff to help you move through it and overcome it. I want to just say I experienced this so heavily in the beginning of my journey. And part of the reason I experienced it so much is one of the thoughts that was on repeat for me inside was, I don't know enough. I don't have enough experience. And so when I thought those thoughts, then the immediate feeling cultivated was doubt. And to remind you of the basic fundamentals of our thinking, right? Our thoughts are kind of a circumstance probes them. Our thought pops into our mind. It's kind of like a vibration and boom, it appears, a thinking. And the way we think then drives the emotions that we experience in our life. And so if we keep putting some of those thoughts on repeat, like, I don't know enough, I'm not experienced enough, nobody wants to hear what I say, they will judge me, then guess what? Doubt is going to be a constant feeling that you experience. And as an entrepreneur, doubt can also become an indulgent emotion. And indulgent emotions, as a refresh, are just ones that we go to. They just become like basically Velcro to us. In our real lives, Velcro emotions or indulgent emotions are overwhelm often, exhaustion, and those can, of course, transcend into business. But when we start to put ourselves out there, things like doubt do have the possibility to become an indulgent emotion if you are not particular and you are not intentional as you begin to grow. And so doubt, I think, is like this sister to the idea, the feeling of worry. And worry comes from spending too much time thinking about like what might happen, right? So for like, well, if I put myself out there, then somebody will judge me. Somebody will leave a mean, nasty comment on social media. Nobody will follow. Nobody will like or comment. Nobody will show up. Nobody will purchase, right? And so when we think about worry and doubt, those things sometimes feel similar in our bodies. They come often from our past experiences and our past failures. We literally allow things that happened to us months ago, years ago, pretty much eons ago, to begin to be the criterion for which we judge our future success. So maybe you did something before in your life. For some ladies, they started a business and it failed. So they're like, well, I can't do it again. I'm going to screw it up. Or you tried a recipe in the past, and so you're not trying more recipes in the future because you're like, well, this one time I screwed it up and it didn't come out, so I'm a horrible cook. Do you see the similarities? Or I had a horrible relationship when I was 13, so I'm going to keep allowing my experiences of the past to come in and plague my reality now, my present, and also my future. And so what we have to do then is some really tangible things consistently, that means all the time, in order for us to allow the feeling of doubt not become an indulgent emotion. And so I want to share today with you some tangible action steps that I believe will be a really helpful part of your journey. And I want to emphasize something I said before is that your personal problems are your business problems. They aren't separate. And this is where a lot of women just think, oh, in my business, I act this way. In my personal life, I act this way. No, they cross. They weave back and forth. So if you lack self-trust in your business and you have in your personal life and you have lots of doubt in your relationships, lots of doubt in your body, lots of doubt in your parenting, then you're probably experiencing a lot of doubt in your own business as well. Right? So this is why I said this episode is for everyone. The languaging though, the container today is just specific around entrepreneurship, but you'll see some of these themes are not new inside the podcast. You've heard me talk about them before. So number one is, how do we let go of doubt? Well, the first is we have to become aware of the thinking that's driving the doubt. I cannot emphasize this important self-awareness piece of how your entire life operates. Thinking drives feeling, feeling drives action, action drives results. So if you're constantly thinking thoughts that make you feel doubt, then step one is to become aware of them and then ask yourself, like, are they true? Why do I keep thinking this thought? And when you start to get granular about that, then you start to say like, oh, I don't have to choose this thought. I can choose a thought instead of, I don't know what I'm doing, of like, I'm one step ahead of my client and that's enough right now. Because that's true. When we're all starting out, we don't know what the hell we're doing. That's the whole point. Just like when you were a parent for the first time, you didn't know what the heck you were doing. Just like when you became maybe married for the first time, you didn't know what you were doing. Just like when you went to college for the first time, just like when you were a teenager for the first time. Do you see how many times you've had first time experiences and you were successful from them? This will be no different. Maybe it feels like a bigger stage because it's where you're at right now, but it too is going to be a similar journey where you're going to experience this amazing growth and you're going to look back and go, wow, the shifts have been so subtle. Remember when I, and now I'm here. So another step to letting go of self-doubt is letting go of self-judgment is really, really important because one of the things that plagues us when it comes to having doubt in our life is we're afraid of what others will say. I'm afraid they're going to judge me. I'm afraid they're going to say I don't know enough. I'm afraid they're going to say something mean or that I don't know what I'm talking about. And truthfully, there has been no evidence in your life that anybody's going to ever say anything. But do we know where the root is? It's that you're judging yourself. You're saying you don't know enough. You're saying they're going to say something about you. You're saying you're not far along enough. So it's a projection issue. And so the answer isn't not putting yourself out there. The answer is clearing out your own judgment of yourself so that you can feel different about taking steps forward in your business. For me, this was like a moment. It was like, wow. It's me that's judging myself. It's me that's saying, oh, you sound ridiculous. It's me that's saying, you don't need to be out in social media. Like, it's too much. Don't be extra. Nobody ever told me that. In fact, when I started to doing those things, everybody was like, we want more. We want more. Keep talking. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Tip number 3 to let go of doubt. This is challenging. So I just want to say this, but it's learning to validate yourself first in business. We love for people to say, oh my gosh, you're right. You did amazing. That really worked. That really didn't work. You should feel so good about yourself. I'm so proud of you. I love to hear those things. Not going to lie. However, getting in the practice of validating yourself and going, heck yes, like you did that. You showed up. When we are constantly looking for confirmation and affirmation from those outside us, then that's where we struggle. Because then when those people aren't there or those things aren't there, we're like, wah, wah. Or if we search for somebody to say, you did it right. Or no, that was wrong. There isn't a right way to do business, first off. Some people build organic funnels, some pay ads, some build, webinars, some host challenges, some do both, right? So the reality is there's a whole lot of different stuff that might work for you. And the right way is going to emerge for you as you take action and you find out what you love, what you don't love. But you're going to validate yourself the best. And when you learn to, you can still say thank you and love that validation and get in the practice of saying like, hey, I got you. You did awesome. That was the right way for you. It felt really dang good. Then you know it is the right way for you. And then you welcome the attagirls from other people in a way that it doesn't determine your worth or your value or the work that you've put in. Which leads me to the next one, which is Learn to celebrate your micro action steps and wins along the journey. This is a really important piece, is that sometimes we get really lost in the big picture, right? The big outcome that we want. And so we want the big result, right? We want the $50,000 months or the $50,000 years or the 5 new clients or the big podcast opportunity to speak. And we forget that, like, to get those things, we had to do a lot of little baby steps along the way. We had to, send a lot of pitches. We had to host a lot of workshops. We had to put ourselves out on social media. We had to make a lot of networking things. And so learning to celebrate those in some capacity is really powerful because that builds the momentum, right? The momentum of a little win is a podcast episode I recorded years ago, and it still reigns true now. Is like, when we get in the habit of celebrating the baby steps, that's how we climb to the top, right? You don't just move from ladder rung 1 to 20. You go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, all the way through 20. And so some ways I do that inside my business are, my love for grounding day, but I use this practice monthly to come back and celebrate those wins, and weekly celebrate those wins. I create kind of a focal point of the week, and I come back intentionally on Friday and acknowledge them. It doesn't have to be lavish, but like, yes, you did that. Like, way to show up for yourself. You took those baby steps. You pitched to 3 podcasts, and now the rest is out there, right? The result will come. The more I show up, it's a game of numbers. And that's something that's really important to do along the way, not just in business, but in life. Same in parenting, same in working out, same in your health. The results don't always show, right? The ability to delay gratification becomes stronger when you can celebrate the steps that you're taking immediately to cultivate that result in the end. Another way that helps, me specifically, and why I create a lot of communities and why I build programs, is that being a part of a community is a powerful way to overcome doubt, because you get to just hear from other people like, hey, I'm right where you are. I get you. I'm right in it with you. I think that when you're in a community of like-minded people in some capacity, you're able to give each other pointers. You're able to have those cheerleaders. You're able to see and surround yourself with people that get it, right? That are around you in a growth situation. I still am surprised when I speak on the show weekly and have conversations with women that are afraid to show their full selves in community. They're like, I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to look silly. I don't want to look imperfect. I don't want people to judge me. It's like, this is what community's for, right? This is the power of what happens when you start to go, oh my goodness, they're all experiencing the same thing I am. And that makes us more alike than different. And then we can be connected. We can be accountability partners. We can go through life really understanding that I've got people that get me. Another way to overcome doubt is to be data reliant. When it comes to business, we can be super emotional about it, right? We tell ourselves stories that it's not working. And then I'll ask clients, well, how do you know it's not working? Well, I just didn't feel good about it. I was like, well, did you go look at the data? How many people showed up? How many people clicked? How many people signed up for a sales call? How many people, XYZ? There are metrics that we can measure that show our growth. And there are metrics, things going on behind the scenes, like I've talked about before here in business, that we don't know. I shared in an episode previously that if I go back and look at all of my clients, very few have even engaged in any outward social media posts. Like, they haven't maybe even liked a post. They haven't engaged in a post, but yet they went behind the scenes and took action. And that's so powerful. That's a reminder to continue to rely on that data, right? That is your data to show you that actually social media likes and comments are less relevant for you, right? Because maybe you're an introvert, and that's okay. Next way that I believe is powerful to overcome doubt is to hire a coach, somebody that you can talk to, somebody that is not in their ish with you, somebody that's willing to be a neutral party on your journey and be able to call you out in a loving way and just say, let's look at the facts here. Let's take emotion out. Like, when you haven't been there, you don't know where to go, right? That's the whole point of hiring a coach, is you work with someone who's actually ahead of you and gets where you have been, so that they can support you and say, hey, I've been there. This is the options to get out of this place. What do you want to do? What feels great to you? And when you hire the right coach, that right coach isn't going to just give you a step-by-step plan. They're going to teach you so that when you're done with the coaching relationship, you truly thrive, right? And you become your best self-coach. And that is my goal with all my clients, is to give them tools so that they're not reliant on me as a coach. While I love my clients, they're amazing. I'm doing them a disservice if I'm trying to set them up to need me 24/7 for the rest of their life. And that's something that I think that not a lot of coaches talk about. There are coaches that sometimes set it up for repetitive need. And I'm all here for having clients that want to stick around for a long time, but I want them to do that because they still feel confidence enough to be successful and spread their wings. They just want a little bit of nudging along the way. And when we invest in a coach, I call it energetic mutualism. There's a reason you exchange money with a coach, you guys. If it was free, you would not do the work like you do when you invest money in something, right? And that scares the crap out of you. You might be saying like, oh, well, I'm not ready to invest. This is what I hear often too. I'm not ready to invest, or I need to make my money back. I need to make a lot of money before I can invest to get to the next level. And my answer is absolutely not. How we get to the next level consistently is by having mentorship in our life that gives us some tools to get ahead. And money is just the currency for which we exchange that. It helps us show up. I've used the example many times of, if there's a $29 membership in my bank account that comes out, I kind of forget about it. And that's not serving me either. I'm not showing up to do that work. And that's not serving the client on the other end. That's why I'm a fan of higher ticket programs, because that really makes the right person think about, am I ready to invest in myself? And so I will do the work. Right? I will do the work because there is an investment of not just my time, but also my energy and my monetary energy as well. And for those of you that are coaches and consultants and service providers, this is a really important part of what kind of women you attract. If you're struggling to have women invest in your services, the objection is the money part is too much, then the answer is like, is that okay? And also, have you broken down the objections with them? They're probably afraid, and the right woman will show up with the right investment, or the right coach rather, around the investment. You're able to break through their fears with them and show them that investment is a scary thing to do, especially in the beginnings of business. And for me personally, it was one of the most powerful and catapulting things I've ever done in my business, because I just simply didn't know what I didn't know. And lastly, part of the way we overcome self-doubt is we just freaking do it anyway. You do the damn thing. You have to go out and take the action, even though doubt and fear and all those emotions sit. And the more we take action, the more we become free from the doubt, because we start to collect evidence for ourselves that we are able to go out and do the thing. And that feels like such an empowering experience when it comes to growing a business. So I know you are there in that place. For those of you just starting, or maybe you're a year in and you're not where you want to be, or maybe you are where you want to be and you want to get to the next level. This is my favorite time in a business to help a woman get to that place where they kind of have a vision. Maybe they have lots of ideas. Maybe it kind of even feels a little bit like squirrel mentality. There's so many things out there. There's so many ways. They're not sure how to just drill down and get really focused on what's in front of them. And if you're that person and you're sitting in doubt, or maybe even a little bit of overwhelm, I totally would love to support you and have a few one-to-one coaching spots available currently focused on growing business. So if you want to chat with me to see if we're a good fit, you can visit feelamazingnaked.com/let's chat, LETSCHAT. To book a time, we'll hop on the phone and kind of tell me more about your business, where you want it to go. And these tips that I gave today, while again, business focused, they're application to life, right? No matter what you're working on, what result you're cultivating, celebrating action steps, looking at your thoughts, learning to validate yourself, letting go of self-judgment, relying on data, getting support, right, through a coach or community, and doing it anyway. These are the 7 action steps that reduce doubt in our life and also in business. And so I hope that you can pull one of those tips, and apply it to your life right now.
And if you love this episode, I would love for you to subscribe to the podcast on whatever favorite podcasting app you have. That way you will be sure to get the newest episodes delivered to you for free as soon as they come out.